Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to do an unboxing of some goodies I was sent by a box of stories. Can you hear that fire alarm? But before I talk about them, I want you all to cast your minds back to 9 months ago when I first started this channel. So one of the reasons I was initially scared to start this channel is because I knew I would primarily be focusing on the most popular YA books, stuff like the Shadowhunters, the Hunger Games. And if I'm honest, I didn't think a lot of people would want to hear about that because YA as a genre has moved on so much from when I first started reading it over a decade ago. As a YA reader, I do think the genre has come such a long way in terms of publishing more diverse authors and including more diversity in the books. And honestly, Book Talk and Bookstagram convinced me that I need to get out of my old school YA reading bubble. But you know how scary it is to have so many 16 and 17-year-olds screaming at me book recommendations to read, and I'm just like, all I know is Cassandra Clare and the Hunger Games, just please leave me alone. I literally needed someone not just to recommend me the books, but to go out and buy them and just give them to me, here you go, just read these and then come back to me after. And that is where a box of stories comes in. So I feel like a lot of booktubers are booktubers/writers. I am a booktuber/writer, but I'm not a fictional writer, I'm more of a journalist, but I've got quite a lot of friends on booktube that are trying to write their own novels at the same time. And I didn't realise that when you publish a book, if you're not on the bestseller list and if you don't have a significant marketing budget, your book basically just gets lost within the crowd. So a box of stories basically saves all these books, then disperses them to book lovers like me and you, so all the undiscovered authors actually get their work read and all their hard work pays off. So as a small booktuber just starting out, I keep forgetting that I've only been doing this for 9 months because I've loved it so much. I feel like I've been doing it for ages. I do think it's important to support smaller authors and authors just starting out in the same way that quite a lot of booktubers have supported me. If you watched my bookshelf tour earlier this year, you will also know that I tried to buy my books secondhand from Depop, from charity shops, from eBay, just so I don't give Jeff Bezos any more money in his already incredibly lined pockets. So if I'm honest, even though a box of stories did send me one of these boxes to unopen, I do actually really like their mission and their aim of being sustainable and giving smaller authors more exposure and the readers that they deserve. So today I'm actually opening their YA box because come on, what other box of books would be so perfect for me? And honestly, I'm so excited because if you follow me on my Bookstagram, you will know that I have one book left of the Throne of Glass series that I'm reading for the first time, and I know that I'm going to get into the biggest reading slump ever after finishing that series. So just knowing that I'll have 4 new books waiting for me is just so good. And one more thing before we get stuck in, the team at A Box of Stories were actually lovely enough to give me a discount code to share with you guys off a brand new subscription order if you too want to receive books straight delivered to your door every month. So I put the link in the description, and then if you use this code as well, you can get £4 off a brand new subscription. And it doesn't have to be the YA box either, it can be any of the other boxes that they do on their website. So if, like me, you feel a bit flustered with the whole of BookTube and BookTok yelling recommendations, this is a good way to do that. So should we see what's inside? I just thought this would be so much cooler if I had something like a sword to open this with. If anyone wants to send me a sword, let me know. I'm actually infamous for badly opening packages and stuff. Whenever people send me cards, I never really open them properly. I tear at them like I'm just some sort of feral animal. It do be like that sometimes. Why am I inept?
2,000 years later.
I'm just using my hands. I'm just using my claws.
6.5 hours later.
Right. Let's have a wee look. Ooh, this is so old school. I love when people print on packages. It's really nice. Some nice brown paper packaging. Alexa, play Sound of Music, my favourite things. Brown paper packaging tied up with string. Oh my gosh, this looks so fun. Just to quickly share what I've been given, and I haven't actually heard of any of these authors or any of these titles, but if you have, please let me know. So I've got Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray, Out of the Blue by Sophie Cameron. I'm loving this purple colour scheme. I really hope this was intentional. Close Your Eyes by Nikki Cloak, and Queens of the Fenburne by Kendar Blake. Okay, these all look so good. Okay, so I was immediately drawn to defy the stars, just because it says for fans of Divergent on, and you know that I'm definitely a fan of Divergent. Naomi is a 17-year-old soldier from the planet Genesis. She can fire weapons and fly a single pilot fighter. Abel is a young mech from Genesis's enemy planet Earth and the most sophisticated robot warrior ever made. We love a human-robot romance. Stranded together on an abandoned ship in space, Abel and Naomi should be sworn enemies, but Naomi's home is in peril and only Abel can help save it. Together they embark on a heart-stopping voyage through the galaxy, one that will lead them to question everything they thought they knew about each other and what it means to be human. I really like the sound of this. I don't usually read a lot of sci-fi, but if you watched my 3 underrated YA recommendations video, you will know that I love the Eve of Man series by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher, and this sounds quite similar to that, and the fact that it's been marketed to being like Divergent as well is also a plus, so that looks very good. So the next one I was immediately drawn to was Queens of Fenburne, obviously because princesses, queens, we love it. The young queens, Catherine, Arsinoe and Mirabella, 3 young queens born to fulfill their destiny, to fight to the death to win the crown. Ooh, Throne of Glass vibes. But before, they were poisoner, naturalist and elemental. They were children, sisters and friends. This screams Throne of Glass, but also rain. Okay, so what I can gather from this is it is actually 2 stories from a different universe called the 3 Dark Crowns universe. So the other story is called the Oracle Queen. There is a reason Psych Queens were drowned. The last one allowed to live was overcome by paranoia and false visions, driven past the brink so that she set upon the capital with bloody ruin, murdering whole houses and whole family lines without trial. Selena Sadothian. Or at least that is how the tale is told. This is her story. That sounds good. This is quite a small book. I don't know if you can see how tiny that is. I reckon I could read that in a couple of days, maybe a day. So now I'm going to have a look at Close Your Eyes by Nikki Cloak, and by the looks of things, this doesn't really seem like a fantasy. This seems more of a serious book, which is great, and I do think it's important to read books like this, but at the same time, one of the reasons I read is to try and escape reality. That's why, because I want to be a journalist and I spend all day reading about what's happening in the news and writing about what's happening in the news, and you know, news is never good. So when I read, I like to escape, and I like to read about fantasy and kingdoms, so this might be a bit close to reality for me, but let's have a look. It could have happened anywhere. Southfield High School is nothing special, with its good teachers, the bad and the cliques. It could have happened to anyone. Aisha and her friends are just like any group of mates. They never thought that someone would come to school with a gun. Oh, it's a gun. It's a high school shooting story. To be fair, this is actually really interesting because obviously I'm in the UK and we don't have guns, but every time I see a school shooting on the news in America, my heart just like drops. So this is actually going to be really interesting to me. I don't know if this is set in the UK or in America, or you know, if it's not got a setting at all, but this was really interesting. Okay, different vibes with this book, but still interesting. Still gonna give it a go. And last but not least, we have Out of the Blue, and I think this is the one in terms of cover that I like the most. Big Clary Fairchild vibes. Just falling through. When angels start falling from the sky, it seems like the world is ending, smashing down to earth at extraordinary speeds. Wings bent, faces contorted, not a single one has survived. Oh, yikes. As the world goes wild for angels, Jaya's father uproots the family to Edinburgh. Yes, we love it. I'm half Scottish and I love to see it. I love to see Edinburgh and Scotland used in books. Intent on catching one alive. Ooh, that's taken a turn for the worst. But Jaya can't stand his obsession, and still reeling from her mother's recent death and the sudden disappearance of her ex-girlfriend, she's determined to stay out of it. Is this an LGBT book? Because I am so sold on that. Then something incredible happens. An angel lands right at Jaya's feet and it's alive. Yeah, okay, this is the best book of the 4. This is the one I'm most excited to read for sure. I love it. It sounds great. It sounds like it's got angels, fantasy, it's got Scotland, it's got an LGBT romance. This, I think, is my fave of the 4 so far. Okay, so here are the 4 books I received in this YA box. Like I said, incredibly aesthetic. This will go nicely on my bookshelf. And I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video. It's one of my first unboxing videos I've ever done. So let me know if you have enjoyed it. And if you have, I would love to do more because I really love watching unboxing videos myself. But I've never actually thought of me doing them. So if you've enjoyed it, please let me know. Give the video a like if you have enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Also remember that I do have that discount code if you want to go sign up and get a box of goodies like this delivered to your door every single month. Please go and use that. And if you have, please DM me on Instagram as well and tell me what box you bought, and when it arrives, please send me so many photos of the books that you get. I am so excited for you guys to use it. Honestly, I think all I want in my life is to be gifted a sword and books. Like, that would be it, and that would be amazing. Did you you know, I've had these scissors for about 18 years. I think when I was 5, I first made some crafts with them and I've had them ever since. So, you know.